cell phones for the commissioners to turn on your mics and make sure you speak into them clearly. And yeah, that's it. So I will accept a motion for the minutes be approved.
I move that we approve the minutes of May 19th.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I would like, sorry, I'm out of the loop a little bit. Minutes have been approved. Go ahead and vote.
With all parties voting aye, the motion passes.
Okay, I would like to advise the applicants that it takes 4 affirmative votes to carry any motion, not just a simple majority of those members present. Anything less than 4 is a denial. Applicants can postpone their public hearings until next month in anticipation for more planning commissions members being present if they so desire. Our first case this evening is sub 177, 2022, a vacation of plat of Lot 1, the Plaza Edition number 2, to create the Plaza Edition number 3, Sunrise Shopping Center property. Applicant Casper Sunrise LLC. Staff report.
Mr. Chairman, I would note that the applicant doesn't appear to be here yet, so I don't know if you want to push this to the end of the meeting. It might buy him a few minutes, or if you want me to just go forward, it's up to you.
I'm fine with pushing it to the second one. Are you, the rest of the commission, okay with that? Okay. So what was on our second, we will now put as our first, sub 213. Actually, before I go any further, do we need to wait for Mr. Wallace, our attorney?
That's up to you, Mr. Chairman. He's typically here, as you know. I can run and go see him if you want to take a short break, or we can drive on. It's up to you.
Let's go ahead and take a short break, make sure that regarding him being here. Thank you. All right, we're gonna re-adjourn. We're gonna go back to the first case, and it was requested for it to be postponed until the next one of July 21st of 2022. Is all the commissioners approve that?
I move that it be continued to the date certain of July 21st.
Carrie, second. Okay, if we will vote on that.
With all members voting aye, the motion passes.
Okay, for our second case this evening, sub 213, 2022, a vacation of replat of Lot 1D in Centennial Hills Village Business Park number 3, subdivision to create Centennial Hills Village Business Park number 4, located west of Hathrow Avenue and south of Centennial Court. Applicants Dave and Joy Investment LLC and Antelope Flats Casper LLC. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Application has been received for a proposed vacation and replat of Lot 1D in the Centennial Hills Village Business Park number 3 subdivision. Create the Centennial Hills Village Business Park number 4. Property total is approximately 6.10 acres in size and is currently undeveloped and is owned PUD, planning and development. The Centennial Hills PUD was created in 2003 and has been amended multiple times through the years. Most recently, in October of 2019, the PUD guidelines were amended to create the commercial development guidelines for the subject area of this request. The proposed replat is splitting the 6.10 acre parcel into 2 lots. Proposed lot 1 is approximately 2 acres in size, and proposed lot 2 is approximately 4. During the approval of the commercial PUD development guidelines for this area, there was significant discussion about the compatibility of the commercial area with the residential area directly to the east. As a result, the points of access to the property were limited to a total of 3. The intent of the limitations was to force internal traffic circulation rather than having traffic entering and exiting along the entire length of the property's Heathrow frontage. Staff has included a recommended condition of approval that reiterates this requirement. A second recommended condition of approval has also been included by staff that requires the property owners to construct sidewalk along the Wyoming Boulevard frontage of the subdivision as required under section 16.020 of the municipal code. Mr. Chairman, we have included 2 recommended conditions for the commission's consideration. We have no public comments, and I have 6 exhibits. A is the replat application, B, copy of the plat, C, vicinity map, D, legal notice sent to the Star Tribune, E, notice of public hearing sent to property owners, and F, memo to the chairperson and members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. That's our report.
Thank you. I now declare the public hearing open for consideration of case number sub 213, 2022. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with the state statute, rules of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the other applicant laws. I would ask those individuals who address the commission to approach the lectern, identify yourself, and state your address.
Sean McCool, so I'm one of the property owners, one of the partners that owns that parcel of land. And so, yeah, so we just want to split that 6 acres. The one thing I wasn't aware of is that as part of that requirement is that we're going to have to do a sidewalk along the Wyoming Boulevard. As we talked about that when we did all of our PUD guidelines that we submitted in 2019, and the commission at that time didn't require us to do that. And the reason I'm not sure why that's in there is because if we do a sidewalk all along, well, I mean, along that whole stretch, along Wyoming Boulevard, it doesn't go anywhere. So we would have a sidewalk that would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to put along Wyoming Boulevard that would lead down to the Domino's building that does not have a sidewalk. So I'm not sure where people are going to go on that sidewalk. And it's a large expense to incur as well. And we discussed that at the first PUD when we were doing the guidelines, and the commission decided not to impose that upon us. So I'm not sure where it came from this time. But again, it's a sidewalk to nowhere. It's all along our property, and it ends down at the next property that's already built and constructed. And those owners do not want to have a sidewalk. They don't want to be forced to put a sidewalk in the back as well.
Craig, can you speak on that?
Mr. Chairman, there's always been a sidewalk plan for that area. We have an MPO study that laid out the feasibility of that sidewalk. Furthermore, with the city is acquiring grants right now for the construction of sidewalk along Wyoming Boulevard, all the way around Wyoming Boulevard. So there's definitely going to be a sidewalk there. So it is not going to be a sidewalk to nowhere.
So when will the rest of it be done then?
As soon as we acquire the grants,
So the grants means the city pays for the sidewalk?
we'll probably pay for 5 feet of it. You'll pay for 5 feet of it, and it'll be a 10-foot wide pathway.
So I'm sorry, so what does that mean? So we pay for what? I don't understand, 5 feet and 5 feet, what's that?
10-foot wide pathways for pedestrian pathways. What the normal street sidewalk requirement is 5 feet. So you would, per municipal code requirements, pay for a 5-foot sidewalk, and then the city would oversize it.
So would we be required to do this sidewalk now as we start to build our building, or would this be something down the line? Or
Good question, Mr. Chairman. It typically happens with the development of the site. So when a site plan comes in, that's when when you get a building permit prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy.
And so then when did the property, all the property that's just to the north of us, all of those properties, Windy City Dental, Domino's, the daycare, the gas station on the corner, when did those guys have to put in that sidewalk?
When the sidewalk gets built, we'll ask everybody to participate in a proportionate share of the cost.
Then I would say, why do we have to do it up front? 'Cause it's not a small expense along 6 acres.
It's a typical expense of doing development in the city. If you have street frontage, it's in the municipal code. Unless it's waived by the planning commission or the city council, you have to do it.
Which it was last time we were here.
It wasn't specifically addressed because
It was specifically.
It was.
I don't believe so, because like I said, we have a approved by the council plan in action that I don't think the council waived that right. And I don't think the planning commission has the authority to do that.
We visited about it last time.
Well, like I said, the city council approved a plan, adopted a plan. It's gonna happen. The planning commission doesn't have the right to override that.
So can we wait until the rest of the properties have to do a sidewalk behind theirs, or do we have to do ours up front? That's, because that's, again,
Timing has not been established. I think the way that the condition was written is upon demand of the city, so that can be discussed.
so we did talk about it last time, and the commission did not enforce us. They were not forcing us to do that sidewalk.
And it's my opinion that they don't have the legal authority when the council adopts a plan to override the council.
So the rest of the properties, sometime in the future, they may or may not have a sidewalk, but ours will have a sidewalk, and when we put it in, it'll be a sidewalk that dead ends at the end of our property.
I guess I'm not understanding, if this is a make or break deal, then I'm curious about the feasibility of the development of this property. If that's a normal development requirement for anybody else in town, why would that be hurtful to this one?
Well, okay, so 10-foot sidewalk over six acres. We have 8 acres there right now. We can do the math on that,
Like I said, you wouldn't be responsible for 10 foot. Anybody in town would be responsible for 5.
right? So 5-foot wide, over 8 acres that we currently own. That's a big expense. Whether or not it's the feasibility, that's easy to say when you don't have any skin in the game, but when you do, and you're trying to make it pencil with the cost of inflation and everything else, to now be, oh, by the way, you're gonna have to put 500 feet of sidewalk, 5-foot wide, that's an issue.
So,
It'd be irresponsible to not.
Mr. Chairman, looks like the city attorney would like to speak.
Mr. Chairman, Craig is right that the city council plan is what controls. Whatever happened in the discussion is kind of irrelevant to what happened at the council. In addition, we are relying on a section 1616.020S of the Casper Municipal Code. It's not a requirement that's new to anyone. If you're going to develop, it's just part of the municipal code to put the sidewalk in. So I understand that there are costs of development and inflation is kind of hurting everyone. The timing can be discussed, but it's not just because we decided to throw it in. It's part of the municipal code that's available to every developer who develops.
Was it not for the other properties that developed?
Mr. Chairman, the other properties aren't even before you today. We don't have the subdivision agreements for those in front of us at all. Each one will be enforced according to the subdivision agreements that were in place at the time in the Casper Municipal Code. That's really not before you.
Mr. Chairman, and the reason it was included in the recommendation this time, and it may not have been last time, is it is a municipal code requirement, whether it's there in the recommendation or not. That was to give the commission an opportunity to discuss the sidewalk, and they can provide a recommendation to council. Council could ultimately decide that that's not necessary. I think that's probably not going to happen since they're looking for money to build that right now. I don't think that they're just going to give money away to one developer when the rest are probably on the hook. So, you can certainly provide a recommendation to council.
so with moving forward, and I guess I'm asking, we can go ahead and move along and vote on this, and we could choose to postpone until the next date certain, so you can get all your facts figured out of regarding that, and if that is something that you guys want to continue doing. Or, as I mentioned, even though we do have a quorum, that you can postpone it, if I'm correct, he could postpone it until the next date to make sure everything's set. So,
Right.
I'm leaving it to you if you want to postpone and get all the information that you need before bringing it back to us. Or we could continue on and see what the other commissioners want to move forward with.
What I would suggest, and I don't know if this is possible or not, but I want to get that lot line changed. And then I'd rather address this issue when we come up with actually the building permit and that kind of stuff for the property. Because like I said, last time we did, I don't know why us agreeing to do the sidewalk changes whether or not we change the lot line.
So
We're adding that lot line.
if we approve it, we're gonna approve it all, everything.
Right.
Just FYI, then it will move to council, you can plead your case with them as far as that goes, but just FYI, if we approve this, if the commissioners decide to go ahead and approve it, it's going to include that requirement of the, pathway.
Okay.
So again, we can move forward if you would like, or we can postpone until you're ready.
Right. I would ask that we move forward so we can press forward with our project.
Okay? Anything else that you would like to share with us?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I was on the commission at the time, way back when we started this process, and there was I'd like to get the minutes of that, because there was quite a discussion about the sidewalk, and the commission at that time decided the sidewalk was not necessary. And I walk my dog quite a bit around Wyoming Boulevard in the winter, and the sidewalk doesn't do any good. Well, it might 3 months in the summer, because the snow plows, you can't walk on it, because the snow plows come by and clear Wyoming Boulevard, and they throw that snow right on that sidewalk.
Well, let's get through
I know,
everything, then when we
but
move to discussion, we can go from there.
I understand that, but I just want to let you know that there was a discussion about that sidewalk when you
And-
first approached us.
Okay. Okay, as required by state law, we have to invite people to comment in favor of or in opposition to all public hearings. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of number sub 177-2022? Not seeing any. There being no others to speak of this case, I now declare the public hearing closed and entertain motion to approve and forward a due pass recommendation to the city council, deny or table case number sub 177-2022 regarding the replat.
I move we pass with a due pass recommendation with the 2 recommendations that are attached to the city council.
I second it.
Okay. We have a first and a second. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, again, I just want to repeat what I said. I won't repeat it, but there was a discussion. And you know, Mr. Wallace brought out a good point. I know this gentleman and his business partners, they've been waiting for 3 years or something like that to put the finances together and all that for this project. And I'm just excited for the project to proceed. And I'm in favor of the whole motion being approved tonight, but I would hope the city council, they can make changes, right, if they wish, of course, the governing body of this city. And I'm gonna vote for it, but I just wanted to make my opinion known that there wasn't quite a discussion, and there was talk about doing away with the sidewalk, and it was agreed upon.
Okay.
I would just comment that a city council typically does not make an exception for one developer. So I don't think it's very likely.
Mr. Chairman, Wallace, did you say that in front of Loaf and Jug and Domino's and that addition, did you say it wasn't the ordinance wasn't in effect then, or the site plan for sidewalks?
Mr. Commissioner Chairman, I didn't comment on that at all. I just pointed out the section of the Casper Municipal Code that requires sidewalks and gutters to go in.
Well, I'm certainly in favor of the whole project.
Okay,
Is there any way we can approve the replat without, and have him come back after he's had a chance to kind of, so the project could move on with the replat, but he would have to come back and we can, maybe he can talk to the city and city council and work this out to keep his project going?
well, as Mr. Craig mentioned, that it's part of the development, it's in there. However, the commission does not have the approval to deny that aspect. It going to council, council can choose what they want to do regarding that. Is that my understanding?
That's correct, and without knowing what's gonna happen on this property for sure, we aren't sure that this will ever be back before the planning commission and city council. The site plans oftentimes are administratively reviewed, so this is the opportunity for you guys to weigh in on good planning practice for what's gonna happen on this site in the future and give staff some direction.
Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. Anyone else? Okay, then let's vote. Oh, what?
With all parties voting aye, the motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to point out for the applicant's benefit, when this goes to council, it is going to be a resolution, which means it's on a consent agenda. So if he wishes to discuss this with council, he'll need to contact the city manager's office and get this removed from the consent agenda.
Okay, and will this be this coming Tuesday then?
No, I believe it's July 21st is when it's scheduled.
With council?
Correct.
Okay, so you have before July 21st.
Correct. We got to get all the paperwork done and submitted to the attorney's office and scheduled and all that. So that's why there's a little bit of a lag between planning commission and city council.
Okay. Okay. At this time, we ask anyone else in the audience to make any other comments. Not seeing anyone else here. Move on to commissioners. Any information want to share? OYD, historical preservation.
No, I have nothing.
Okay, community develop,
Nothing.
nothing special. Our city council liaison, he is out of town today, but he did say this will be the last meeting he should miss for the rest of the year. I gotta communicate with him on that there. Anything else? Discuss. Anybody want to share about WyoPass? Something that stuck out to you that enjoyed or caught your attention or anything like that?
I enjoyed the whole thing. It was a lot of good information. It was nice to chat with everybody from around the state with what they got going on. It was well worth the trip.
Okay,
I thought the water rights and all of that was the most interesting part.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed it. It's just, I went to the one last year too, here in Casper, and it was very knowledgeable. I pick up issues that I'm not aware of, and I enjoyed it.
Anything
No,
else?
I particularly enjoyed the water rides as well.
Yeah.
Very informative.
One thing that stood out to me the most that I was a little surprised on was Jackson making the choice of if they have a 38 acres to develop, they'd rather put one house on that property than to develop it into multi-family homes or whatever, and that they're wanting to kind of restrict certain development outside of, in the urban areas and things like that. And I thought that was, most places want to grow, they want to develop, they want to move forward, and hearing that they didn't, I guess really surprised me. And then to hear Rollins, was it Rollins or Lander, kind of moving that same direction. So that was, I don't know, that kind of surprised me. So,
That was interesting.
yeah. All right, with nothing else from the commissioners, we're adjourned.
I have a question. Is it still gonna, your design's still gonna be something like that?
Yep. Yeah, on that 4 acres.